G'day all, welcome back to Built by Chris. In this episode I'm going to be turning a pen. I bought some blanks recently from Dave at Mind Matter Create, and here they are, and they're absolutely stunning. I can't wait to see how the resin pops on these things and the burl. Dave, if you could send me a message, let me know what kind of burl it is, I'd be very appreciative. But yeah, I'm going to turn a pen, an Atrax Rollerball pen out of this, and see what it turns out like. So, if you want to see how it looks and how it turns out, follow me and I'll show you how easy it was. The kit I'm going to be turning is called an Atrax Rollerball, and the colour is gunmetal. So the blank I've picked, or the blank I've chosen, is this one here. It's some sort of burl. I can't remember what sort of burl it was. The guy who made them, Dave from Mind Matter Create, made these blanks, and they're absolutely stunning, with a dark resin in it. So I'm thinking that the gunmetal will go well with the dark resin. So that's what I'm going to turn. So that's that. I've got the two tubes ready to go. When I say ready to go, they're here. I need to scuff them up, and I need to cut the blank to these tubes. So let's go ahead and do that. There's my two blanks that I've just cut. There's the two tubes that go with them. There's one there and one there. Now I need to drill holes. Now these holes need to be specific sizes. Now according to this particular brand, the Atrax, I need a 12.5mm drill bit, which I've got here, and a 10.5mm drill bit. So there they are. Let me start with the 10.5 one first. Yep. There we go, drilled, hole drilled through. Now I needed to be careful because drilling into acrylic and drilling into timber are two different things. If I had just gone straight through the acrylic on the fly through the other side, I would have snapped out, broken out pieces of that, and that's what I don't want. That's why I turned it around and drilled from the other side. That way it gave me a nice clean exit hole. And there was a lot of heat generated in one of these things. So anyway, the two holes are drilled. Now it's time to go and glue in the tubes. Okay, here I am now. I'm going to glue in these tubes. That one goes in there. That one goes in there. Now I have the insertion tool. I know it sounds funny, but the insertion tool, that's ready to go as well. And I've got medium super glue. Medium works better, I think. Fills the gaps a bit more. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is, these tubes, when you get them, they're all smooth. Depending on the brand you get, sometimes they're already pre-scuffed, but these ones aren't scuffed. So all I'm going to do is run some sandpaper over it and just scuff it up. So that just gives the glue something to hold on to, so the tube doesn't pop out at all. That's more than enough there, and I'll do the other one. This is just 150 grit sandpaper, nothing special. There we go. They're both scuffed up now. Time to glue them in. Now I'm usually pretty liberal with the super glue. Now the way we put it in and out, in and out, in and out, so it covers everything. And then I push it in with the insertion tool until it's equal on both sides. There we go. Now the other thing I've got, which I've forgotten to get, some accelerator. I'll give that a squirt, and that just sets the glue instantly. Let's do the other one. Okay. Right, so both tubes are now glued in. Next thing I have to do is go back over to the drill press and trim these blanks down so that they're just flush with the tubes. So over to the drill press we go. Okay, here I am at the lathe. Now I've got these things called bushings. That's these little jiggers here. Let me get them in focus. Little jiggers. And they tell me how far I've got to turn the timber down, or the blank. I've got to turn the blank down. Now there's a specific order that these ones go in, and I've got to work it out. So this is my cap. So it tells me that the two big ones go in here. Now they're a tight fit. 1, 2. Okay, on you go. Now these ones here, there's two different sizes. There's a bigger one and a smaller one. So the bigger one goes first, like so, and then the smaller one. There we go. And then I've got this little spacer one that goes here. Then I just roll the tailstock in, lock that down, tighten her up. Lock that down so it doesn't move anywhere. Okay, so we're good to go. Now I'll get the tool rest. Okay, now the tool rest should be close to the work. And when I got it level, it should be halfway down the work here. So right about there, I reckon. So lock that off. Let's check it out. Close enough. Lock that off so it's not going to move. That's locked, that's locked. Make sure I got it on the fastest speed. And I don't. So I've just got to change the belt here at the back. That's better. Safety first. Make sure I put my mask on. And let's start turning. You can usually tell when you're cutting this resin or acrylic. It's when you're cutting it properly, it comes off in one long thin strip, which is fun to watch, but a pain to work with. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, I've taken it down as far as I want to take it with the tools. Actually, this one's a little bit lumpy still. Let me just take this one down a little bit further. That's better. That's better. Okay, I'm just going to turn off the camera. I'm going to vacuum up all this stuff that's come off and get ready for the next bit. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is start sanding it. And I'm going to start with the 150 grit. Then I'm going to go to 240, 320, 400, and the last sanding is going to be the 600. So they're the grits that I'll be going up in. And then we're going to go on to the finish. So away we go. That's it. Now I get a rag with a little bit of metho on it, just to clean up the dust, take all the all my fingerprint residue off there, and it sort of gives you a little bit of a prequel as to what it's going to look like, and that is going to look absolutely stunning. Okay, speed's been turned down because I'm going to be putting super glue on this, so I don't want it to splash up everywhere. And I've got this piece of cardboard which has seen better days. It's going to catch the drip so it doesn't go down onto the bed of the lathe. Alright, let's get on with it. Now all I do is just put a little bit on the cloth and just run it over. Give that a minute to dry, and that's going to look pretty good. Now the people who do these CA finishes, everybody's got their own way of doing it. Some use the accelerator in between coats. I don't do that because it makes it go really hard and then it's harder to sand. So I just wipe over. That's the second coat. Always give it a couple of minutes to dry. Now the one thing I should have done is I should have swapped out the bushings for the non-stick ones. Otherwise, with the super glue going on it, I'm going to stick the bushings to the blank and it's going to be hard to get off. So I'm going to pull up the lathe again and I'll do that now. Okay, now I've got my non-stick bushings in here. I can continue putting these coats on. So when I last left you, there was 2 coats. Okay, so I won't let you watch the preceding coats. I'll get back to you when I'm ready to do the finishing. Okay, I went ahead and put quite a few coats on there. Now comes the part where I sand it all. But it's not with normal sandpaper, it's with wet sandpaper. So I'm going to be wet sanding it now. Now we start off at, I think it's a 1500 grit, and we end up at a 12,000 grit, which is basically just paper, feels like. But by the time you get down to this end of the sanding scale, it's polishing. So let's get on with it. Okay, I was right about here that my microphone batteries decided to die. So I'm just going to do this quick voiceover. What I'm doing now is I'm just charging up the buffing wheels and getting ready to buff the pen. You've got 2 wheels there. One of them you put the like the buffing compound on, which I did, the blue stuff there that you can see. And all I'm doing is just rubbing the pen up and down, up and down, up and down, moving it around, moving it around. And if there's any like micro scratches after you're sanding, then this will take it all out. and it really brings up the polish really nice, and makes it super glossy. So I'm just hitting it with the buffing wheel now, hitting it with the compound, and in a moment you'll see me transfer across over to the other wheel, and that's basically just going to buff off any residue from the buffing compound that's on there. There I go now, and it's really coming up shiny. So I'm just being pretty meticulous here because I want the finish to be really super glossy, and I'm just feeling it and make sure it's smooth all the way around. You can usually tell if you haven't got all the buffing compound off, because when you run your fingers over it, it sort of gets a little bit grippy where you haven't buffed it off properly. So I'm just giving it a second hit with the buffing wheel, the buffing compound, because like I said it before, I just want it to be super glossy. And then I go back over one more last time to the other wheel, and just keep going basically in the same direction, just keeping it moving, because it can build up a little bit of heat if you keep it in the same spot. So just up and down, twisting, turning, moving it around, and it's really coming up a tread. It's almost like glass. It's absolutely fantastic. Now comes the final stage of this pen build, and that is the assembly. I've got all the parts laid out. I've got the instructions sitting here in case I need them, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to, because there's a few extra parts here that I don't normally see. And the first thing to do is to take this little centre band and put it over this part here. So I'll do that now, make sure I got it the right way around. Looking at the diagram, and that's right. And it goes in the wider end. So let's get that pressed in. I don't want to go too far with it. Okay, so there's the first bit in. Okay, slide the clip over the finial, so that's this thing here. Clip over the finial and press in place onto the other end of the cap. So this way. Now I want to make sure that I've got this nice piece showing. So let's throw that in there and press it home. There we go. That's going to look absolutely sensational. Okay, this is all pretty confusing at the moment, so stop ring on the nib coupler. That's this one. I've already done that. Oh, I see. I should have done this first. Okay, no drama. I'll just press it in now. There we go. Home she goes. So that's in. That's this part here that goes on. But I'll do that later when it tells me to. So I've done that. So this now screws into here. Here's the ink. Pop that in there. Spring apparently goes in here. Here we go. So the pen part's ready. Press the coupler and stop bringing the large end of the barrel. Yeah, I've done that. Press the blind end coupler. Okay, so I believe this and this need to be pressed into here. There we go, and she's home. And that is finished. And there we have the finished pen. Now that has turned out absolutely gorgeous. There we have it. That is the Atrax Rollerball pen, and the blanks are courtesy Dave from Mind Matter Create, and I reckon that's turned out a treat. And there it is, the Atrax Rollerball pen. Turned out, in my estimation, really, really well. Love the timber, the burl. Dave just let me know what kind of burl that is, what species it is, and the resin part of it. Oh, beautiful. It almost looks 3D. Now, for those of you who are looking at starting pen turning and you're not sure where to buy your blanks from, check out Dave at Mind Matter Create. He'll hook you up. His blanks are a really, really good quality. I like it. I'll be buying some more from you, Dave, rest assured, and I'm curious to see what you've come up with, because you told me you got something else planned, and I'll probably end up buying a few of those off you as well. So if you liked what you saw, how I did this, how I made the pen, leave me a thumbs up, always greatly appreciated. Leave me a comment below if you think I could have done something a little bit differently, or you just want to ask a question. I'll try and answer all the questions. And with that, I'm going to say thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Bye for now.